You can just feel the resentment eking off of Ron. I think he hates Sam at this point. Like, you shouldn't talk about your partner like that. And then dinner is super awkward and it casts a pall upon the house. Their relationship just casts a cloud over the house. Hi, I'm Ray Arcade. Welcome to my channel. The last time we were at the Jersey Shore house, Ronnie and Sammi had their biggest fight yet. Ronnie had threw all of Sammy's belongings all over their room, and then Ronnie and Jenni made up because Jenni was whispering in Ronnie's ear. Sammi punched Ronnie in the face, and then Sammi and Ronnie made up, and then Sammi and Jenni made up. What will happen next? Take my hand as we find out on this Jersey Shore retrospective. Today, we are covering Season 3, Episode 6, called Should We Just Break Up? And it premiered on February 3rd, 2011. And don't forget to stick around to the end of the video where I will be reading one of your comments. Also, if you would like to subscribe, that would be very helpful. I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers soon, maybe, if you want to. Don't, if you don't want to. Let's get into it. We open back on the club where Ron, Sam, and Jenni's hate triangle has become a love triangle. The emotional whiplash of these three is mind-boggling because they go from physically beating the shit out of each other one day to telling each other that they love each other the next. But Sam is starting to get uncomfortable at the club because there's a montage of Ron taking drink after drink after drink. And if Ron's past actions have shown anything, he becomes a very different person when he's drunk. He cheats on Sam, he calls her the C word, he yells at her. It's a nightmare. So, of course she's uncomfortable. And Ron's like, I'm not drunk, I'm not drunk. They get back to the house, Ron is very clearly wasted.
Ron, here. Look what I got you, baby. Here, I got you something.
The room at this point is doing somersaults, spinning, flipping, doing 360s. I'm like, ah.
You throw up. Yeah?
Everyone is waking up the next morning, and they show the black and white security footage of everybody's rousing out of bed like sleepy animals waking up on a summer day. And I never noticed this before, but there's a quick clip of Roger standing up, and it looked like he was packing heat. And I was like, does he have a gun? No. He has 2 guns tattooed on either side of his hip to look like he's holstering, like, pew, 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 pew. It is hands down the lamest try-hard tattoo I have ever seen in my life. If I want to be intimate with a fellow, he takes off his shirt and he's got 2 hip guns, I'm done. It's over. I will say, put that shirt on, sir, and turn back around and get out of my house. The next morning, Ron is having some issues.
Let's go to the doctor.
Really?
I don't know if it's from the alcohol or...
Do you want me to go with you?
Yeah.
Why is Ronnie bleeding out of his ass? I have no idea.
So he needs to go to the doctors to get to the bottom of things. So Ron is getting his mud hole fingered by the doctor. I'm a little nervous about putting that clip in here, and I don't want to get age restricted. So just imagine Ron's laying on his side and there's a doctor behind him, gently inserting a digit into his rectum. And Ron doesn't look very comfortable. And this is all interchange with Sammi sitting in the waiting room looking awkwardly bemused. After getting checked out, Ron says,
It's not hemorrhoids or anything like that. She's gonna give me cream.
Cream?
Yeah. Is it comfortable with his finger in my butt?
listen, I think he does have hemorrhoids, okay? I can't confirm it, but drinking and partying and not taking care of yourself, it causes you to become dehydrated. And, pooping, it's hard when you're dehydrated. So you're straining and straining and straining, which can cause like a vein to pop in your intestines. That's what a hemorrhoid is. The doctor prescribes him cream, right? Which they prescribe for hemorrhoids. I just think he didn't want to say he had hemorrhoids on national television. But, also, by the way, FYI, if you're taking a number 2 out there and it feels spiky, probably have a hemorrhoid. And you should get to the bottom of that. The girls, minus Sam, go to a pharmacy to run some errands, and Nicole finds a little tricycle she starts riding around on.
Oh my God, I don't want to pay for this. Boo! Oh my God. I cut a corner to get in the other aisle, and the freaking handlebars fall off.
This is really inconsequential, but by season 3, these people were making a lot of money. And to me, it seems messed up. You're at a mom and pop pharmacy and you break something and you don't pay for it. It's messed up. Am I crazy? At the club, some of Ron's friends from New York come down, including a guy named Dario.
To be honest, I actually really like one of Ronnie's friends. His name's Dario. He's good looking, my type. I'm like, oh, he's a cutie. Do you want to kiss me? No, but I have cigarette breath.
Dario and Dina start hooking up. Meanwhile, on the other side of the club, Snooki is hooking up with a guy named Jeff.
He's grinding up on me. We're making out. I'm taking this guy home tonight.
They're making out, and it is so graphic. Ugh, it's nasty. It's nasty. So she drags him upstairs to, I guess, immediately bang him. And this man is wearing shoes in the bed. So they're fooling around under the covers and everything. And they don't actually do it because Snooki says she's on her period. But, they're rolling around in bed. And he still has his shoes on. Dina's out back sitting on Dario's lap and they're making out. And I relate to Dina a lot here because she has no self-esteem and is constantly calling herself fat. Don't do that out there. It makes you seem crazy. But Dina says very confidently and sassily,
I definitely don't have sex on the first night. It's not Halloween. I'm not handing out candy for free. You need a golden ticket to get into these drawers. Dario is not going to get the golden ticket tonight. Whatever, my golden ticket was taken.
my girl folded under no pressure. The next morning, Snooki's still hanging out with that Jeff guy from the night before, and they're still in their clothes from the club. And I remember doing this in my early 20s. I could not imagine doing it now, but I remember going all night, waking up the next morning, and just continuing on. It was a different mindset back then. Snooki convinces Jeff to get on the stripper pole that her and Vinny had bought at the adult store. They go to the boardwalk together, and they seem like they're having a good time. Jeff, though, he seems creepy. He's giving off a very weird vibe. And I have some info on him, so hang tight. That will be coming up shortly.
You have a tongue ring?
You didn't know that? How did you not feel that the whole night? I was trying to put it on you.
He has a tongue ring! Oh my God, I didn't know.
Also, the way he's leaning in and whispering in Snooki's ears, I don't know. It's giving me the ick. We also get a classic Snooki line.
You wanna go in the water?
I hate the
You can stay all
ocean.
day in the water.
Yeah, it's all whale sperm. Bye.
Whale sperm? There's no whales out here.
Everybody Google it, because that's why the water is salty. From the whale sperm.
I feel like there are a lot of classic Jersey Shore lines that have cemented themselves in the annals of pop culture history. And for some reason, the whale sperm one is not. But I feel like this line was crazy big when it first came out. Am I misremembering that? Anyway, I stole a comment from Reddit that explains why the ocean is actually salty if you are wanting to learn a little information. You ready? Over millions of years, water dissolved salt out of the ground. Rivers carried that water into the sea where the plain water evaporated, leaving salts behind. More salt was brought into the ocean, but it could never leave and increased in concentration. The more you know. Things start getting weirder. Jeff is dumping his whole life into Snooki's ear again by whispering into it. It reminds me of that baseball meme of that guy who's talking to his girlfriend or something, or his date. But like, ease up, cowboy.
And I was with her for 3 years, and we got engaged before I left.
You were engaged?
Like, technically, I was like, look, wait for me.
So I'm like, okay, this kid has a fiance. Do you have kids? Do you have an STD? You were engaged?
No, not like that. It was basically a promise ring. I told her, oh, fine, you want to wait for me?
I love promise rings, but you just said you're engaged.
Snooki loses her mind about this for no reason, in my opinion. I mean, Snooki is dumb, so maybe that's why. It seems like maybe Jeff had been giving her the ick, and she was looking for any excuse to give him the boot. Because, like, why would you care if he had been engaged? She's not anymore. That would just be that's just like caring if he ever had an ex-girlfriend. It's really stupid. So she ditches Jeff. She says, "Get out of here." Can't seem to take no for an answer, which starts to give off, "I want my 15 minutes of fame." And so he keeps calling and calling the house. So the cast start messing with him.
Yeah, Three Brothers Pizza.
I'd like an apology pizza delivered to Nicole because...
You could deliver it to Nicole yourself.
Can't believe homeboy got attached.
Really attached?
Snooks, you want to talk to him?
What frickin' ever? Jerk off.
She don't want to talk to you right now, bro. She's a good girl, and you did her dirty, dog. You better send roses to the house. You feel me? Roses, dog, with pickles in them. Fried pickles. And they better be fried pickles.
Here is some updated information about Jeff. His name is Jeff Miranda, and I'm fine saying this. He's like got a public-facing TikTok, so I'm not really worried about saying his full name. His name is Jeff Miranda, and he seemed to be obsessed with Snooki after this ended. He appeared on the cover of what I think is like a local New Jersey magazine called Steppin' Out, where he asked Snooki to marry him. Then apparently he dated Angelina for a little bit. My man was desperate to sink his teeth into any amount of Jersey Shore fame he could get. I think recently in the last couple of years, a lot of the NDAs had expired because like in June of 2025, he posted a TikTok update. He was like all up in the comment section. In his bio on TikTok, it says former reality star, which is like, how? I don't get it. And he's posting Jersey Shore clips from 15 years ago. To me, which reads pathetic at this point. However, he does have a similar story to Danielle the Stalker about the editing making him look crazier than he really was. So I'm going to read a comment from his TikTok. Beep, 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 beep. Let me be very clear. Let me be clear. I'm not Italian. I'm not Gianni's cousin. The feelings were real and mutual. Everything was edited to hell. She got mad at me over a lie production told her. They begged me to leave and get her to go back to work. We were both ready to walk off set. So they said, Jeff tells her to go back to work and we will send you home and you can come back later. Obviously, that was a lie. After all that and countless times to show her and prove to her that I was telling the truth, there wasn't anything else I can do. An unfortunate ending that had a happy beginning and could have turned into something. This was last year in June of 2025. Like, get over it, buddy. So the thing I walk away from this that's the biggest shock is that he is in no way related to Gianni. I'm not even sure that they knew each other. Also, Jeff is Brazilian. He's not even Italian. I guess it's up to you if you want to take his word for it. Him and Danielle the Stalker both are unreliable narrators. I don't know. To me, it seemed like Jeff was fame hungry, and he still is, whereas Danielle seemed like she really was just obsessed with Paulie. Like she wanted to marry him and have his babies. Do you believe Jeff, or do you think he's just kind of a loser? Or do you think it's somewhere in between? The next day, the guys go and run some errands. Ron asks the girls if they can clean out the fridge. Sam kind of like, yes, him. She goes outside where the girls are planning a trip to the adult store. Sam agrees to go, and it's actually pretty cute.
We're gonna take the other Escalade and go to the store to get games. You wanna come with us? What do they have?
It's like big, like this.
I'll go too.
Yeah! Oh my God, it's freaking awesome!
I'm gonna be the DD.
Yay! Oh my God.
Sam is smiling and the girls are happy, and I feel like this is the happiest I've seen Sam since coming to the Shore House in season 3. She clearly was missing having girlfriends, you know. They're all having fun at the adult store. Jenni has on this outfit and she looks so good in it. So good. The guys get home before the girls, and they obviously did not do their share of the cleaning. And, you know, I very much do understand where Ronnie is coming from here. And it seems like the whole series, the girls seem wholly useless. So Ron's complaints aren't unwarranted. But of course, he had to ruin any valid point he had by saying,
They went to the shop. That's what they did. So you know what? They're cleaning off the tables and they're doing the dishes. I think the guys do everything in the house. We cook, we clean. Isn't that their job? You know?
like my dude cannot go 5 seconds without being a chauvinistic pig. The girls get back and Ronnie sarcastically thanks them for cleaning out the fridge. That's reasonable. Like, he's pissed, so he's giving them a little shit. Fine. I've had terrible roommates in the past who did not clean up after themselves, and it's a very frustrating situation to be a part of. I do feel bad for Sam because she comes in smiling, and as soon as Ron confronts her, her face falls. You know, I feel like she hasn't had a lot of joy in this house, so it's sad to see that sucked out of her by Ronnie. They end up getting into some dumb argument about how Ron never cooks for Sam, except for eggs. Ron says,
"Bitch, I cook you breakfast every morning when I get up, and you don't do for me. I mean, what don't I do for Sam? Besides wipe her ass for her and breathe for her."
You can just feel the resentment eking off of Ron. I think he hates Sam at this point. Like, you shouldn't talk about your partner like that. And then dinner is super awkward and it casts a pall upon the house. Their relationship just casts a cloud over the house.
Awkward.
I mean, I have a headache from dealing with Ron and Sam's relationship. I feel like I'm in the relationship and it's not even mine.
This is such a bad time.
I just can't even talk about it right now. It's actually giving me a headache right now, for real.
Oh my God.
You have to know that living with Ron and Sam is such a nightmare because at this point, Mike had a steady supply of opioids coming in, and I mean, he was zooted the whole time. And even he is miserable on opioids, which make you not care about anything, for real. Like, they mellow you out. You do not fucking care. And even on the copious amount of the most relaxing drug you could be on, he's still frustrated. At work, Jenni basically says the quiet part out loud of how she functions with men.
And I'm single, but it's like, I'm happy seeing Roger. And what is single? Like, single's like being alone and like looking and hooking up with all these people that I'm just not interested in.
Like me.
Maybe I'm viewing this through a cynical lens, but to me, Jenni views being single as constantly trying to find someone. Like, it seems like there's never a point where Jenni can just relax and be by herself. She needs somebody. She needs to be looking for somebody, and she needs to be with somebody. I think it's kind of sad, you know, when somebody just cannot be alone. And I get wanting a partner. You know, I think everybody wants love. But even when you're in a relationship, I think being super attached to somebody and not being able to even then spend some time by yourself is a problem. That night, some of the roomies are getting ready to go out. Sam is also getting ready to go out, but Ronnie says he's going to stay home. He's being a little aloof and evasive, which like can be fine, but Sammi is hypervigilant to this type of behavior. Sam is looking for any disturbance in Ron's behavior, so even when he's just chilling, she reads it as him pulling away and gets scared. So she immediately jumps to, should we just break up? I think her jumping to the most extreme thing is kind of a defense mechanism he has conditioned her to do because he's pulled away in the past. So she just is assuming he's thinking about pulling away anyway. So if she says, should we just break up first? In that way, she's almost protecting herself. Vinny says,
Hell has to be just like this.
Yeah. I don't even know why Ron and Sam are fighting right now. I mean, we're waiting for Sam, who's straightening her hair, whose hair is already straight.
after all the drama and wasting everyone's time, Sam decides she's going to stay home. That night at the club, Danielle the Stalker is back, baby!
Danielle stalked my whole entire life last summer. Well, I don't hold a grudge. We made a truce. Now, we'll see if she changed.
So she's coming back to the house. In an interview, Danielle said that the producers had approached her and asked if she wanted to come back to the house. They said everything had been a big misunderstanding and it would all be cool. Is it wrong that I kind of ship Paulie and Danielle? I don't know. I think there's something there. Paulie apparently still has the I Heart Jewish Girls shirt that she made him from season 1. Now, I'm going to extrapolate here. I think that Paulie D did keep the original shirt from season 1 because Danielle lived at Seaside. So he kept it, I think, hoping that he'd run into her so he could tease her with it. Because I think Paulie low-key likes that she's kind of crazy. I think he likes that she's kind of insane. Vinny is acting like someone's annoying little brother and just walks up to her and calls her like a stalker to her face. I'm not totally convinced that Danielle is lying. It does seem like Paulie did lead her on a little bit. So I don't think it's fair to call her a stalker. But she does throw a drink at him, so maybe not a stalker, but definitely unhinged.
Yeah, buddy.
Stalker. Danielle is at the house tonight. Danielle, stalker, stage 5 clinger, alert, is in my house tonight.
What are you doing here?
Yo, when you give birth, right, when you're about to have a baby, what kind of bird comes and delivers the baby?
Stork.
In the interview Danielle did, she said that Vinny in season 1 was very nice, but by season 3, he had changed and he was like a total egomaniac, which kind of tracks. She said that Snooki and Sammi were very rude to her, especially Sammi. She said Jenni was very nice to her, and that Dina was kind of just there, not rude or nice. She was just kind of there, but she did emphasize that Dina was not mean to her at all. And I think that's the last time we see Danielle. Ron and Sammi are back up in their Tower of Torment arguing. And at this point, I think Ronnie just hates her. I cannot describe it any other way. He just despises her. And I think Sam knows that he despises her. And every time Sam feels Ron pulling away, she clings harder and harder. And again, I must remind you, Sam is watching season 2 in real time where Ronnie was cheating on her because the production knew that it was going to cause drama and tension during the filming of season 3.
You're a waste of time. 6 months ago, big deal. I'm the reason you're still here. I'm the reason you got through Miami. So remember that before you ever talk down on me. Don't turn your back on me because now you think you got some friends in the house. You're the fakest in the house, and I'll make you crumble real quick. You crumble real quick.
I hate this man. I hate him. Again, Ron is dismissing all of Sam's feelings, saying he's the reason she got through Miami. And I've used this, analogy before. I'm going to use it again. It's like hitting somebody with your car, taking them to the hospital, and nursing them back to health and being like, well, your legs aren't broken anymore, the legs that I broke, because I helped you. And then, after being nursed back to health, the person that got hit by the car is like, hey, I'm really nervous around you with cars when you're in a car. And they're like, oh, fuck you. Your legs, they're not shattered anymore. Ron does this subtle thing where I think, personally, that he resents Sam has women around her now because she's not as isolated and not as able to be as easily manipulated by him. And he throws it in her face that she has friends because she feels bolder now and she's standing up for herself. I just think he doesn't want Sam to be happy. And he's pissed that she could have a support system. So he basically says he's going to ruin her life. So Sammi and Ronnie break up. Sam resolves to move all of her stuff out of his room to give themselves space from each other. And we'll see how long that lasts. And now we are going to raise replies to replies LLC. This comment is from Super Spoon. And they say, it never really occurred to me how much this show normalized abusive relationships. It is absurd that no one in production intervened when Ronnie was destroying all of Sam's possessions. Had literally anyone on set contacted the police, Ronnie would have likely left in cuffs. He treated her like a possession. Like when she misbehaved, she was a broken thing to him. So in exchange, he'd break all of her things. Sammi annoyed me when I was younger, but these days I vibe with her. She was trying to survive 7 people low-key gaslighting her to varying degrees, one of whom also put her in constant fear and need for validation. She was really young and surviving an awful, awful lot, as glamorous as it all looked. Yeah, and it only gets worse from here, right? Like, so throwing all of her stuff around was bad, but then things ramp up a lot. And like, yeah, I know people can argue that Sam hit him, which was toxic too, but it's a very interesting situation because maybe you can make an argument that she could have left, but at this point they had all like signed contracts. This was her livelihood. So I could see her wanting to stay, and have this once in a lifetime experience, make money. She might have been locked into a contract, but obviously that's a recipe for disaster. I do think that they're like at least Dina and Snooki and Mike sometimes, and sometimes Vinny. Occasionally it seemed like some of them wanted this all to stop, but I think they also were scared of Ronnie because he was a hothead, especially Dina and Snooki. They very clearly cared about Sam and wanted to do right by her, but they see the way Ronnie is treating a woman, and he has a history of like picking up Snooki and taking some irritation and anger out on her even. Like, he's like a little fucking gorilla, I'd be scared of him too. They're small girls. And he has shown time and time again he has no issue lashing out at them. There were people gaslighting her for sure. More than anything, I don't think it was the cast's responsibility even to deal with what was going on. It was production's responsibility, but I don't know if it was just of the time. I don't think I've seen reality TV where things have gotten that bad. Sammy's ultimately the victim here. And I feel like that house was kind of under the thumb of Ronnie's anger. And it goes to show today, you can see who's happy and who isn't. I made it to 500 subs. Thank you very much. And it's my birthday in a couple of days, so I'm sorry if this video was delayed. I went out for like a couple of days out of town to hike and have fun. So funny, I went from being like a Jersey party girl to being on the West Coast and spending time in the woods. The journey life takes you on, But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Until then, I'm Ray Arcade. Stay crazy, stay wild. Bye!